All right, everybody, this is Mike Jones. Thanks for joining us for ECTV. Today, I got a special guest, Mark Bounds. Mark, tell the folks hi.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
Mark's a little bit nervous on the camera, but we're gonna overcome that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
So, Mark Bounds, let me go ahead and turn this down. Mark Bounds is the chief deputy at Ellis County Constable Precinct 4. Is that correct, Mark?
That is correct.
I'm just trying to
get me to relax a little bit, I guess.
Relax. So, Mark, just for the folks out there, just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't know. I worked for you for 6 years, so I'm a little over 6 years. So most of that was reserve time.
Yeah.
But before.
Well, you were also a dancer for Thunder Down Under at one time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I was a good dancer. And I made no money there. I'll just let you know that I'm.
Well, I mean, you gave it away if you did.
Well, I had to. That's right. But we, I've done protection work. I did. We did celebrity protection work out of a company out of New York. We traveled around and did protection work.
Any celebrities we might know?
There's some. We work for some celebrities.
Give us one name.
One name. Man. We did Clint Black's tour when he was on tour.
Really?
We did Tanya Tucker's, a couple of that, and we did.
Is she dead?
No.
Oh, she's still
Madeline Albright. Her security team. I was on that when she was doing a lecture series.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done some of that kind of thing. And then my wife wanted me to stay home more, so or not be in. Traveling and living out of a suitcase.
Oh, yeah.
So I came back and started working. I worked for Old Police Department. And
as a patrol officer? Or Yeah.
And then, but actually, after that, I also ran World Cup Dallas. I don't know if you knew about World Cup Dallas.
Is that soccer?
It was soccer, the soccer venue. I ran the venue for that.
You mean far as security or?
We did all the security. I was in charge of all the security for.
I didn't know that.
The FIFA and the teams and all the games.
I got royalty sitting in here. I didn't even know it.
I don't know about all that.
Maybe we'll get you a raise if you know.
Yeah, I think if the county can get me a raise, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I might be pissing off commissioners, so we might not be getting anything.
It may not happen. Yeah,
we might be making our own money just to work out of our office. But so, Mark, we're not going to do a big thing today. I want to really kind of introduce the people to you. And I want probably you to come in and give us a segment. And I would like for you to kind of, you're an instructor.
Right. We teach firearms and we teach self-defense. And right now we're working with churches and I'm really enjoying it. We're helping a lot of churches. We got 4 churches right now that we're working with.
To do what?
We're teaching them church security, teaching them how to de-escalate, how to talk people down in situations. We're teaching them some hands-on, but we really tell them that that's the very last thing we want to do. I've got a group.
Well, they really need that. I mean, just what happened in Fort Worth.
Oh, absolutely.
A couple of weeks ago.
Oh, absolutely.
So, are you working with the guys for concealed carry, the security teams?
The security teams that are in the church, and matter of fact, I've got a group Saturday, and Tom will be out there. He's one of our deputies.
Yeah, Tom Kopic.
Tom Kopic will be out there, and. I think Brent Fulfer may be out there.
Which is another one of our deputies.
And we're going to work with this with their security team of a church out of Mesquite and take them to the range, make sure that they're shooting right, make sure that they know how to draw that firearm and,
And probably know the legalities of deadly force, things of that nature.
We go over Chapter 9 of the Penal Code, and we make them all study it.
Apparently, Chapter 9 is a secret chapter because it hasn't been applied in this county since I've lived here. So, but Chapter 9 is essentially the self-defense chapter, right. The defense of a third person chapter,
right,
and deadly force. Do's and don'ts.
Right. We just tell them when they can do and what they can do as far as protecting themselves or somebody else, and we make sure that they really understand that because they've got to have a good grip on that. And we went over de-escalation and we actually ran them through scenarios.
Yeah.
And we're working with a couple of churches, two churches out of Waxahachie, and doing the same thing.
You feel comfortable mentioning names, or you?
I don't know that they will. I mean, one is
it's probably a good idea.
They may not, and I'll find out if they do. We'll be glad to tell
Oh,
you.
absolutely, man. We the more involved we can get with our community, even in us. I mean, even though it's not in our precinct, it's still in our county, and it's still
absolutely
great people.
It's
you know,
like the Waxahachie churches are not in our precinct, but we're working with them. But also Curtis Polk, which is the constable out of Precinct 3. He's working with us in the training, him and Tom, and we'll go do the training, and we've done several of the different churches. We're meeting again in March to do a SABA training for these churches.
What is that?
It's self-aid buddy aid. Self-aid buddy aid.
Oh,
what happens? So after
first aid stuff,
trauma,
it's
really trauma,
yeah.
And it's like if you have to shoot and whatever if there's an active shooter situation, you have the situation you shoot. But now we want to stop the killing and then stop the dying.
Yeah.
So that's
well, it's your duty bound to, once you stop the threat, if you've induced any type of trauma, now you really have to turn into an RN or a first responder for the person that was trying to kill you or other people in there.
Immediately stop.
People don't realize that, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're trying to teach them. Immediately stop the die-in, and that's actually I don't know, Garland Wolf shouldn't mind us telling him, but he's one of the guys coming out and teaching that, and he's teaching me how to teach that. And he's
thanks, Garland. He's is he currently the
chief in Red Oak?
Red Oak Police Chief.
Right, and he's a great guy. As a matter of fact, we don't charge for any of these classes that we're teaching. It's a community service. I lied. We do charge for
the range.
When they go to the range, we charge a range fee, and if you're going to have a live gun in your hand, I want you to have a little bit more skin in the game. I want you to, and we charge $25 a person. So we're not trying to get rich, but I want you to have some skin in the game where you're going to pay attention to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So SABA, in the Marine Corps, we called it stop the bleeding, start the breeding.
Right.
And apparently that's kind of like what you guys are.
Same thing. And it's a military base. It's the Army actually. It's the Army's
tourniquet.
version of that. Tourniquet, trauma bandages for your pressure.
Sure.
I mean, and you hemostatic, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it. Help me, y'all. Okay. So anyway, we'll have this the clotting agents, and then we're going to talk about the chest seals. Really, the main thing is just stop the dying immediately.
We want to neutralize the threat, but we don't necessarily want to take somebody's life.
I don't think anybody in their right mind wants to take somebody's life. I mean, at the end of the day, we'd like for everybody to go home, and the bad guy's home may actually be the Gray Bar Hotel, but
he's still got family.
But he still has family, and we don't, so we want to try to stop that, the dying.
Yeah, and and it's really self-serving as well that you keep that person from dying, and you don't shoulder that burden till your dying day.
Right.
I mean, you have to do your duty, and you have to take action sometimes, to include deadly force. But after that's said and done, 10 years from now, you're by yourself, and that deadly force incident that you were involved in raises its ugly head. It'll never go away. You can never unload that burden.
No, you can't unsee or unthink the things that you've done or seen in your life. You just can't unsee them. And if you don't think that in the wee hours of the night that occasionally that these things sneak into your head, then you're wrong.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, some officers, they get so stressed out that they'll end up taking their own life. And I think, there ought to be more in the military and in law enforcement, Mark, as you know, that there's a stigma if somebody raises their hand and says, hey, I need help mentally. Because the first thing, as law enforcement, first thing that the guy at the top thinks about is this guy has a weapon and he's interacting with our citizens and he's telling me that he's got a mental issue. Now, in that type of leadership position, what do you do? I mean, do you take that guy off the street? Do you take his gun away from him, which might be the only thing that he understands?
Right. That's his livelihood. That's his job. That's
exactly.
What he does.
Yeah.
And well, actually.
So they tend to not say anything.
Well, absolutely, and they don't want to because it's hard. I mean, we had a lieutenant back in the day that would come up to us and say, after a bloody scene that would happen, and they'd say, "Do you need to go see counsel?" And we all, "No, we got this, we got this." Well, it's not true. You do need to talk about it. You need to vent. You need to have peer counseling. And I've been to a peer counseling school, and actually both of my boys are they work for PTSD Foundation. And
really?
And they work with soldiers and first responders. Matter of fact, I've got a book in the car that they've got.
You don't look old enough to have adult children.
Yeah, that's very kind of you to say that. That's very kind of you to say that.
Me either. But,
You don't. You're about the same age as me.
Yeah, well, I just look young. I'm actually up in the years.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a hard life.
Yeah, no, it has. And all kidding aside, I don't think we're going to change the way things are going. I don't think you and I are in a position to change that nationwide or anything. But for some of the police officers that are watching you and I today, we want to tell you guys we know where you are, and we know that it's difficult to show a weakness, especially when it comes to where it could affect your the way you pay your bills. So we get it, and I can't advise you what you should or shouldn't do on a personal basis. I hope you don't take your own life, though. That's you're ending your situation, but you're adding to your well, you're beginning the situation for your family
and friends. But talk to somebody. Talk to the chaplain
clergy
or another somebody. Talk to somebody. Talk to the chaplain at your department, or if you don't feel like you want to give any of that information to your department, there's other folks out there, and there's different groups that they'll come and talk to you, and they'll keep it private. It's just but talk to somebody, and you do need to get rid of the garbage. If you talk about it, it's going to improve your situation.
You really do, and I after my little ordeal here locally, I saw somebody too, but I think the way my brain works is I can't subscribe to some of the issues. Being a Marine for over 20 years, being in police for over 20 years, and you're telling me I need to go to my happy place and picture my belly becoming one with the earth.
Right. Well, there's different ways of doing it, but I get you.
That's exactly what happened.
And when they're talking, listen, we're not going to, and that's that's why you go to a peer counselor. They know what you live. They know how you work. They know what's going to work for you or going to help you. And they're not going to tell you to.
Well, I don't think there's help for me.
Well, none of us, but at least you have somebody to talk to.
Sure. I mean, at least somebody else can shoulder your burden right along with you.
Kind of help
Let's just ruin him too.
And it's actually kind of good because you can, at least, we all stumble and we're going to have challenges throughout, and when you do, at least you talk it out with the guy that's really, they've gone down the same road that you have, and they know it.
I'm glad we're not going to do any politics on this with you and I. We're going to talk about law enforcement, and these kind of issues that affect law enforcement officers. They're in a position now that if they're starting to second guess deadly force situations, and they're starting to get killed because of it, and the reason why they're second guessing it is because the media and the people are being biased, and they're not reporting in the right way, and they're damaging these police officers mentally.
It's all slanted.
To where they're and the departments themselves are even they'll fire them, or and they see other people being fired for deadly force situations, so it causes them to second guess in a moment when there is no time to second guess.
Yep.
And they end up getting killed.
A gunfight, milliseconds. And I just read about one that happened, and this guy, the subject fired 28 rounds, and the officer fired, or the subject fired 40 rounds, and the officer fired 20 some odd rounds, and was running behind this and getting behind that and doing this, and it was 56 seconds.
56.
That's how long the whole gun battle took.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, I mean, it's
but they're worried about making the wrong decision because they're going to get fired, and they end up taking a bullet because of it.
Absolutely.
And I don't think if we're going to entrust these guys with carrying weapons, and of course this is way above Mike Jones no one really cares what I think. It's like Department of Defense. They don't care if I don't like ISIS. They have yet to call me for my opinion. I just give it.
Right.
And by the way, fair reporting here. I don't think Department of Defense watches my channel, but
yeah.
And on the other hand, they might.
They might start, but but actually, and the really we need to try, and our officers need to have the ability to react the way they're supposed to react.
Oh yeah,
and not worry about
the courage.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You have to.
It takes courage to look at a guy in the eye and pull the trigger.
Right.
I don't think people realize that TV in reality.
Oh Lord, there's nothing alike.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
two people's lives changed at that instant.
Oh, absolutely. Two people's lives.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And actually a few others are involved, family members and
ancillary.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But at the very least, these two people will never be the same again as they were the moment before that.
You just can't be. I
Can't.
mean, and that's the thing, and that's why you got to get out there and talk about with other folks.
Yeah.
Even those folks that go to combat, and I'm just like how many times they've served. I mean, they go back 5-6 times.
I'm wondering if this time their luck is going to run out.
And we're losing soldiers and sailors and Marines. We're losing them out there to suicides. It's happening all the time, and we're actually, people don't really talk about it much, but we're losing a lot of cops to suicides.
Yeah. I kind of understand what's going on with the servicemen, simply because of all the years that I served. They're the point of the spear, right? And they're entrusted with ammunition. They're entrusted with making decisions, life and death decisions, and they're shouldering the responsibility of maybe some of their squad members or whatever, not coming home. And they get back and they go from a big fish in a little pond to a little fish in a big pond. And now people are telling them, you need to work at Subway or McDonald's or whatever. And you got some 20-year-old kid talking to a 23-year-old combat vet, telling him how he's making his sandwich wrong.
Yeah, you need to do that different.
Yeah, I think America owes it. We owe it to our troops to help them assimilate back into the civilian life. One of them is Veterans Court, and we've talked about this before. I'm not going to get into the politics of that, but we owe it to them to do everything we can. I mean, some guys just ain't savable. They were going to be dirtbags when they went into service, and they're going to be dirtbags when they get out of the service. But for the vast majority of these strong young men, we owe it to them to pay them back.
And there's challenges in every profession, and there's good and bad in every profession. But we got to help them get back into the civilian life.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a hobby.
I do have a hobby.
Well, we all got a hobby. We laugh.
Actually, I have several hobbies.
I know. I always tell people I don't know how I have time to go to work. All my hobbies, because they tell me, hey, it used to be Top, now it's Mike. Mike, when you retire, you're going to miss it so much that you're going to want to come back.
Who has time? Who had time to go to work?
That's right. Hey guys, let me tell you something. This ain't my life. This is my job.
Yeah, no
I mean, I love y'all. I love serving everybody, but it's a job. I do this. I swear to it. I give you 150%. But when it comes my day to check out, I'm gone. I'm gone, and I'm going to be doing woodwork. But on that note.
Well, I'll tell you, I my hobby, I have a CNC machine, but I also did sculpting, and I carve PVC pipes into lamps, and I do all kinds of whatever. So I just forgot about that. But I made this plaque and for Mike, and I hope you can see that really well.
Let me see. I think I got to zoom on this.
Can you zoom in on that?
I think so.
And I made that for him with my fancy dancy CNC machine, but it's really good. And I like it. I made several of these plaques, but this is one of my favorites because I put all of the units that he served with. And
if y'all can't tell, this is cut in with a wood router bit.
It's a router, yeah.
And it's a CNC machine, computer numerical calculations or something is what it stands for.
I'm not that smart to know that.
I don't mean either. But do you do this? I mean, like, do you hire yourself out to do stuff?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as a matter of fact, I've worked a couple of gun shows, and I've actually, some of these I've commissioned different things over the, but I've made signs for a lot of people, or plaques, and.
Well, this is walnut,
Yeah,
and it's what, nice 2 inch thick or inch and a half?
It's about 1.5 inches.
Look at that, guys.
And it's just, I thought something with all that information on it, and that needed to be substantial. So, need to carry that.
That's a lot of stripes.
That's a lot of stripes to hold.
I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I am gonna christen this wall with my new plaque. Is that being caught on TV?
I think so. Yeah.
Mark, I want to personally, I always tell you thank you, but they don't know how much I appreciate everything that you do. I mean, you give so much of yourself to this community, to me, that,
thank you. I appreciate
God put me on a path a couple of years back. I didn't know why. Yeah. They tell you don't ever question why God puts you on certain paths.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I will tell you, I questioned it. I questioned it a lot, and I didn't understand it because I'm human,
Well, we all question it, even though we shouldn't.
Yeah, I think what God made me a thinking man. That's your fault. That's His fault. But I truly believe that some good came out of this. I met Mark Griffith and became, close with him. Criminal defense attorney. Let me get him more in the frame here. Criminal defense attorney in Waxahachie.
Great lawyer.
Great lawyer.
Great guy.
Dan Gus.
Wonderful.
Oh, my God. If this hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't have these relationships with these two freaking pillars of Texas, not just our county.
Absolutely.
And also, in all that, I got you as my chief deputy, all that, and I couldn't be happier. And I truly mean that. I'm not just saying that.
Well, I appreciate that. Full of my ears off, and I appreciate that. I really do. And actually, I tell people all the time, you're one of my best bosses I ever had. Good guy to work for, really. And
I paid him a lot of money to say this.
Yeah, I get a lot of money. That's the county money. And as how?
No, it's not.
Now the county. Yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm saying the county pays me my check, and they don't pay that much. But
I can just see the investigator from the DA's office come to see how much I'm paying you from the county to talk about.
Talk good about you? Yeah. Oh no, we get none of that. I get peanuts.
Yeah.
But I enjoy working for you. You're a good guy to work for, and y'all are lucky to have a man with this kind of integrity to.
We have a great precinct. Yeah. And we're getting huge, guys. And
we're growing.
We're growing. Mark, I thank you for the accolades, but truly the guy at the top is only as good as the people that prop him up. And, I was a leader in the Marine Corps, and there's not a doubt in my mind that the success that I enjoyed in the Marine Corps was because of the people that worked with me, my staff and SEALs. And all the way down to PFC. We didn't have any privates, but those guys made me look good, So and vice versa, you make me look. You give of your time to teach the citizens, and like you said, most of these are free. It's just
right. And we've been doing this for years with our precinct. We've taught identity theft, and we've done to go to the different communities and talk about identity theft and
maybe we'll come on here and we'll do what it is constables are delegated to do,
right? And
then expound on what it is that we will also bring into our circle.
Right. We really try to help it, and I don't think we've got a great bunch of law enforcement in the community. It's a good one, but our constables are all we're very close to each other. All of the constables in the area we work together. We also go out and do this other training together, and we just really want to give back to the community. So it's not just a 9-to-5 job. I mean, we're in the evenings and on the weekends, and we're doing this, and we do it without. And I'm not trying to pat my back, but we do it without pay. We're just trying to help the community. And at the end of the day, can we make the churches safer? Can we make the communities safer? And even talking about the identity theft. I mean, and it happens, and it's happening in every city. and you got these people calling you on the phone trying to get money from you, and so we're just trying to help to educate you with that. And
I would like to see you when I'm ready to go do my hobbies. If you still, I don't know what, we're the same age, so
that's right.
If you're still going to put in some years, I'd like to see you take over this job because, one, that'd be a legacy that I left behind would be you. And then,
I appreciate that. And I've entertained the idea because somebody actually asked me and said, you're pushing, and I probably shouldn't talk politics here, but a little bit. They said, you're pushing Brad Norman so hard. Are you trying to get a job there? I go, no, I like my job just fine. I'm perfectly happy where I am. And I said, as a matter of fact,
we take stands.
Yeah. And I said, and I'm not mad at the guy that's in the job, but I like the guy. I think Brad's the right guy for that job. But I will tell you that I said that I like my job. I'm happy where I am. I said, if Mike ever leaves, I may put in for that position. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're very qualified for it, and I know that's going to give you a big head, but to tell you the truth, I could train a monkey to do my job. So,
you propped me up till you can hit me down, didn't you?
Yeah. Mark, I want to thank you again. I know this was kind of impromptu, but again, for the folks out there, this is Mark Bounds. He's the Chief Deputy of Precinct 4. He's my Chief Deputy, my right-hand man. His phone number is 972-875 or 825-5377.
I don't know. I can't tell you right now.
Yeah, y'all might have to look on the county website.
Look it up. I have it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I should have. And you said you came in here and you were you were a little gassy and all that, but to tell you the truth, I hadn't heard anything, So.
And this equipment will pick it up, won't it? Oh, come on.
Come on, bro.
Come on, you got to hit the buttons over there, man.
Man, look.
Good times.
Yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. I hope you found some humor in this and learned something from this. If you want to know anything specific about the Constable's office, text me.
Call me.
Yeah, call if we got the number right.
Yeah.
And if we didn't, you can always put it on Facebook. You can put it on the YouTube channel. And he and I will get back together. We'll give you a little answer to it in this format here, and we'll make sure you get the answer that you're looking for. If we don't know, it's like we always said, if we don't know it,
we'll find out. Yeah,
we'll find out.
And we'd be happy to come out and teach y'all whatever we can teach you or help you with that.
Yeah, we'd love it. We love it. Mark.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Let's wave our
Bye-bye.
Bye.